What's poppin', everyone? It's your boy VenomousStare, back with Root Puck, the American Protoss playing wonder, who is playing on New Gettysburg, and he's fast probe scouting. His opponent this game is a barcode Zerg, so we don't really know who this is, and I probably won't speculate. New Gettysburg is a map that is bizarre. Oftentimes Blizzard will put weird maps in the 1v1 pool. What I mean by that is there's usually one, maybe two maps that have really unique map features, and the other ones are pretty standard, pretty safe. But the maps that have these unique features are the maps that get replaced the fastest. They're the maps that get complained about the most too, because a lot of times people don't want to ever adapt their builds. Puck is blocking the natural of the barcode Zerg, which is very smart. I would honestly want to see more Protoss players do this. Puck is also opening with gate expand, so no cannon rush or anything. But look at that. The Zerg really wanted to hatch first, and that's what the Zerg pretty much always wants to do economy-wise, but Puck's harass, he didn't even build a pylon, didn't cost him anything but the probe, and suddenly the Zerg expansion is severely delayed and the Zerg had to go gas pool. Puck peeks over the third, says, okay, I'll take it. Our naturals are about even, my gate's already done, the cybercore's on the way, and my eyes, Puck is way ahead. He's also being obnoxious with this probe, so even though it's Puck, the player from the Midwest, the macro Protoss playing, the game so far appears almost as though it's Huck, the Canadian Protoss, famed for his warp gate aggression and play earlier on in the game's life. Lots of probe annoyance, that's what Huck was really known for. Two Zerglings coming out for the barcode player as well as Ling Speed. It looks as though he might check for cannons or build a spine or take a third, hard to say. Puck is chronoing out an adept. This is so smart. If your Zerg opponent scouts with his overlord and sees your gateway, chrono out a unit because A, he thinks that makes him think you're going to work get all in, and B, it makes him think it's a stalker, and it makes him wary of overlord scouting. Even if your opponent thinks you might go adept, they have to respect this chronoed gateway. And look at this, it is an adept, but the Zerg was forced to turn back because it could have easily been a stalker. And losing an overlord early on like this is detrimental. Really, really bad. Third base just now going down for our Zergy friend. Puck runs in with an adept, sees the sixlings waiting for him, cancels it, and if we go to income, Puck is ahead. He might lose this adept though, and he's probably going to try to phase away, but it's too late. He'll lose the adept. At this point the Zerg has a little bit of freedom. He has Zergling speed and he can be aggressive because the adept died. Puck has a wall in, so he'll be fine, but the Zerg can check around for proxy pylons. He doesn't really feel so pinned back like he was earlier on in the game with the probe. The Zerg has elected to get early overlord speed, which allows him to scout this Twilight Council, which is being chronoed. Now this is indicative of a couple builds, potentially. I mean, you never really know for sure. It's StarCraft 2, not chess, you don't get complete information. So there's a couple builds. Usually in Legacy of the Void, when you see this chrono on the Twilight, it's this adept bust, where you build lots of warp gates, you delay your gases, and you go one robo pretty much. You go one robo, one warp prism, and just do a warp get all in with the warp prism with the adept attack speed upgrade resonating glaives. However, versus Zerg, there's some old school builds that are very good and fun that you'll sometimes see. A blink all in where they'll get +2 and blink stalkers. Looks the same, remember, the Zerg runs in. They see the Twilight being chronoed, they don't really know what it is. Or it could be Archon Charge Lot, which is a very fun and powerful build, also with good attack upgrades. But safe to assume that it's probably going to be adept, and that's what it is. Puck's going to run forward. Notice how he uses the phase shades to advance as he's kind of attacking. Look at this. He's going to see this, and instead of losing his entire army, Well, he's going to shade forward and fight, but potentially if he didn't want to, he could have left. And look at this. This is another thing. You can just run away and then send shades, make your opponent retreat, and then just cancel and win yourself a moment of respite. Huge kill on the creep tumor there, as the barcode Zerg only had the one creep tumor, and creep is very important for holding off all ends like this. Also note the lack of roach speed for the Zerg player because his lair was delayed. A lot of these things are a result of this initial hatchery being a bit delayed. Puck has started to take his third. He has his mothership core waddling between his third and his natural. Notice he's still yet to take these gases. Some Warp Prism harass going down with the depths. One worker being killed, so nothing really missed there. The Warp Prism is low, and an annoying feature, I would say, of New Gettysburg is these weird little red lines. They're called air blockers. Basically, they're just dumb things Blizzard's put on the bottom of the map to make it where your air units derp out. And it's really frustrating, and it's kind of inconsistent to deal with, and I don't like them. But essentially, you're only supposed to be able to pass through here and here, but what usually happens is your unit gets stuck like a StarCraft 1 Dragoon on the bottom, at least in my experience, especially when you queue up drops. Speaking of drops, an attempt to drop here for Puck, but the barcode Zerg has the Zerglings ready. He has his 9 range Queen ready to defend. Meanwhile, up top, some cancelled Ravagers. Puck is pressuring his Zerg opponent, forcing him to make attacking units, but the Zerg has 60 drones, so despite Puck's pressure, his economy is stable and solid. Puck himself has started to make workers over at his third. He's taken double gas at his natural, and he started to make immortals. More attempted harass here from Puck, but only one worker being killed. The Adepts run in, and again, the barcode Zerg has nice defense. Puck has immortals, and he has a third, but he also is not really succeeding with this harass. He might get a few drones here, but in terms of units lost, he's behind. The Zerg is slightly behind in tech. He has a baneling nest, he's getting baneling speed, so it might be a big roach bane all in for a Zerg. He has a fourth. It's kind of hard to say what he's going to do here, because he is not upgrading. He's been forced to make pure units. Puck's third base is saturated. And he's thinking about doing some more Warp Prism harass to try to get in this game, get an advantage. The barcode Zerg takes the tower. This is very important when holding this base and this base on New Gettysburg, the traditional 4th and the 5th. Puck allowing to wall off this peculiar little bottom region. I really like this because Zerg players will so often just can queue up an easy little counterattack to your natural as they're pressuring the top of your third and your fourth here. Warp Prism harass from Puck. He's going to run into spore crawlers that are building and not currently completed, and Zerglings that were waiting for him. So this barcode Zerg has defended wonderfully against Puck's trademark Warp Prism harass, and he's finally started to creep spread again. Lots of skill banes on the way. It appears as though our Zerg player is going to go for one big attack and hope to do some damage, maybe break the fourth, and behind it he's going to continue to expand, and he's going to start upgrading as he has 2 Evos on the way. But this Roach Bane attack or it's not even really Roach Bane, it's Ravager Bane. This is going to need to do some damage here because Puck has Archon, Storm just finished. I don't think, if we go to units, he has 4 High Templar. So Storm could be big here, especially on Banes. Puck being tested here, his 4th is being looked at. He sees the Banes and starts to make a nice little gateway wall. This is intelligent, more gates going up. Ooh, Psystorm onto Banes. That's huge! Most of the Banes die before they can even get there. More Banes, more Storms going down onto Banelings, and Puck kills the majority of those Banelings before they can even connect. And I have to say, if Puck didn't have Storm there, and assuming Force Fields wouldn't have saved him, his army would have gotten obliterated. And Puck has quite a few Immortals here. Roaches, remembered, for whatever reason, are not considered armor units yet. That's a test map exclusive thing, a proposed change. So these Immortals aren't going to deal the devastating damage that I think logically they should. But meanwhile, we see lots of harassment going down. Puck has killed 20 workers with this Warp Prism. He has an Archon back here which has managed 10 kills. He's gone in depth behind it. He still has that upgrade, the Resonating Glaive upgrade. And whenever you have Resonating Glaives and +1 to your opponent 0/0, your Adepts trade absurdly well with Zerglings. And I mean absurdly well. And suddenly, the Barcode Zerg who went for that big Roach Ravager Bane attack is dead because he delayed his upgrades. Puck with wonderful Storms there to save his own hide, and some nice kiting backwards. If you enjoyed it, subscribe for more. Puck and myself.